In this video, we are going to take a look at the position property in CSS. So the position property specifies the type of positioning method that's going to be used for an element. Elements can be positioned using the top, bottom, left, and right properties. Okay, but before you use these properties, top, bottom, left, and right properties, you have to set the position property first. Otherwise, the top, bottom, left, right properties will not work. And the top, bottom, left, right properties also work differently depending on the position value. So what are the position values? It could be position static, position relative, position fixed, position absolute, or position sticky. Okay? So let's take a look at static first. So HTML elements are position static by default. So if you don't declare any position at all, then it's going to be static. That is a default. Static position elements are not affected by top, bottom, left, and right properties. So you cannot set top, bottom, left, right properties at all if you do not set the position value first to something other than static. Okay, so an element with position static is not positioned in any special way. It's always positioned according to the normal flow of the page. Okay. So next, the position relative. So an element with position relative is going to be positioned relative to its normal position. So to its static position. So what it would have been static. Now when you do relative position and then you give like a left 30 pixels, then it's going to be 30 pixels left of what the normal position would be. Okay, so setting the top, right, bottom, and left properties of a relatively positioned element would cause it to be adjusted away from its normal position. So let's go take a look here. So I'm going to apply it to my header. My header has a class of home, so I'm just going to apply it to home, the header with the, sorry, not class, with the ID of home. Okay, I'm going to apply it to the ID home. So let's go into style here and scroll down to where home is. All right, I can even bring it up so it's easy for you to see. Okay, so home. I'm going to go position, relative, okay? And then I'm going to go, let's say, left, 30 pixels, okay? I'm also going to give the background color of, let's say, white smoke again, just so we can see it better. All right, so I'm going to go File, Save All, okay? So here, this is going to shift 30 pixels over from its normal position, because now I've declared the position to be relative to what its normal position should be, 30 pixels over. So let's refresh it. There we go. It's moved 30 pixels over. You can see that there. All right. You can also set it to be absolute. So an element with position absolute is position relative to the nearest positioned ancestor, okay, instead of position relative to the viewport. So if an absolute positioned element has no positioned ancestors, it uses the document body and moves along with page scrolling. So you would set it like this: position absolute, and either top or left or right or bottom, whatever value. So this is positioned relative to the nearest position ancestor. But if there's no other position ancestors, then it just uses the normal position. Okay. Next is the fixed. An element with position fixed is positioned relative to the viewport. So it always stays in the same place, even if the page is scrolled. It will never move. Okay. So, for example, if you tell the footer to be position fixed, bottom right, bottom 0 and right 0, then it will be fixed there. Let's try that. Position fixed, bottom and right 0. Okay, so footer, think I have the footer down here. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so footer, position, fixed. Okay, bottom, 0, and right, 0. And let's go see what that looks like. But first, I'm just going to have some of the same properties here so we can see the footer box better. Okay, so width 80%, border and padding and margin and background color. So you can pause it to kind of copy the same code and follow along. Okay, after that, please save all. And let's go take a look. And here we have it. Look, why is this here? It doesn't matter, you know, if they're scrolling or anything, no matter how big or small the browser window is, it's always going to be, you know, at the bottom and to the right. And why is there space here? It's because of the margin. Okay, if there's no margin, then it will be really kind of stuck to the edge of the page. Okay, so let's go show you that. So if I have no margin, then there won't be that 20 pixel space. Yep. Right, then it'll be stuck right there. Okay, that's if you want it there no matter what. All right, next we have sticky. So an element with position sticky is positioned based on the user's scroll position. So a sticky element toggles between relative and fixed depending on the scroll position. It is position relative until given an offset position, a viewport, then it sticks in place like a position fixed. Okay, so let's go play around with that. Okay, I'm just gonna take out the footer one. Okay, so I'm gonna take out first I'm gonna take out position fixed for my footer. Okay, now that I've demonstrated to you how it works, and I'm going to go back to home. Okay, and I'm going to say position sticky. Okay, and I want it to be top, maybe 0 pixels from the top, and from the left I want it to be 0 pixels from, no, I want it to be, let's say 0 pixels from, 0 pixels from the left. Okay, so top and left, I want it to be 0 pixels. I want it to be at the very top when you scroll down. And of course I need more text here then for it to scroll down. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy and paste this here a few times. File, save all. Okay, so what I've done is just kind of copied and pasted more paragraphs in my main. Okay, so that the page will be easier to scroll. And then in my style.css, I added position sticky, and I told the top to be 0 and left to be 0. And then of course I have to go and save all, make sure everything is saved. All right. And here we go. I'm gonna refresh. Okay, so this is my title, and then there we go. So when I scroll enough that it scrolls, the page starts scrolling. When I start scrolling, it moves to the position that I've told it to go to. Okay, so it starts out relative. Okay, starts out, and then now it goes to that fixed position. Okay. All right, so this is, quite common on a lot of websites where you have the menu bar sticking to a certain position, right? And this is where you use sticky, position sticky.